The ventricular system is basically what developed from the cavity of the neural tube. So some parts will be more enlarged than others in different shapes and things like that, and we number them. So we have two hemispheres, so we've got two lateral ventricles, 1 and 2. Then in between them we have interventricular foramen on either side going into the third ventricle. And the third ventricle we saw earlier was where the thalamic and hypothalamic areas are. This continues on into the part in the midbrain, which is the cerebral aqueduct, a very narrow little groove over here. And then the hindbrain, we have the fourth ventricle, which lies in the region of the pons and the medulla, and then eventually it opens up for the first time at the median foramen of Magendie and the two lateral foraminae of Luschka over there in the fourth ventricle. But it continues also down into the spinal cord as the central canal. Now the central canal, there's nothing really much happening over that. That's just the remnant of the neural tube, and it can often become interrupted, so there's no flow in there. But the main thing that you've got to remember about the ventricles is that they contain choroid plexuses, the big ventricles. In the case of, it's much easier to find it over here. They come obviously from the choroid vessels, anterior and posterior choroidal arteries and so on, and the veins drain them. From posteriorly, where the superior cistern is, you can see the choroid plexus of the third ventricle in the roof of the third ventricle, just below the fornix. But remember, the fornix is part of the lateral ventricle. This passes through the interventricular foramen, and eventually it will pass into the fourth ventricle and go to lie on the floor of the fourth ventricle, running backwards of the lateral ventricle. If you look at this, it's basically the same thing. Now the lateral ventricles follow this almost C shape, and that simply means it started off as a little bundle like this, and then the brain went forwards, hit the frontal bone, went backwards, hit the occipital bone, and then went into the temporal bone. So it pulled everything around like this. So you've got the interventricular foramen over there. This is the anterior horn of the lateral ventricle, the body, the so-called antrum. There's the posterior horn, and there's the inferior horn. And you can see the choroid plexus. There's no choroid plexus in the anterior horn. It lies on the floor here of the body, then on the anterior wall. Basically, this is thalamus. So in the anterior wall of the antrum, there's nothing in the posterior horn, and then in the roof of the temporal horn. If I lift that away, you can see the hippocampus underneath. So there you can see the same thing. If I break this fornix and I open it up, you can see the choroid plexus running backwards and then running into the inferior horn. There we go. There's the glomus. So the anterior horn is over there, posterior horn, the body. Can't see the posterior horn, it's going that way, and the inferior horn. It's very, very narrow. If we look at this one, everything is more or less removed. This is anterior and posterior. You can see the anterior horn, the posterior horn, and the inferior horn. What I would like to show you over there, there's the caudate nucleus. The head of the caudate nucleus being pulled around just like the ventricle into the body, and going around eventually into the tail. So even though the largest part of the nucleus is the head, we still call it the caudate nucleus because that's the longest. And it just goes to show how the development went, and it gives you an idea why the ventricle is that shape as well. In this specimen, it's broken up. The fornical commissure has been broken up, but you can see there's the fornix over there, and then just lying just lateral and inferior to it is the choroid plexus, which will run underneath. If I lift that up, you can see it going into the antrum and then going in there into the inferior horn. Here you can see the hippocampus going around. The fornix runs on it and folds over onto it. Here you can see it better on this side. That's the alveus and the choroid plexus running there.